Yeah, we found out about the breaking news
Hmm.
right as we were going off the air of take two.
Yeah. Although this said the Soap Opera Digest is quoting for net articles, so
All right, folks, for those of you listening on the podcast feed, we are getting ready to go live on YouTube. Uh, as the gremlins at YouTube get the ball rolling to get us online, and I'm able to share the feed. We've got a lot to go over. A lot of breaking news out of General Hospital. But we are the the link is now shared and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News brought to you by Suds and Squared Circle Media. I am Vinnie. This is Angela. We've got a lot to go over, but before we even get to the breaking news and what's been going on, we do have to get a couple of things out of the way. First off, go ahead. We do have a new URL for our website. It's no longer sudsandsquaredcircle.com. That's too long. It's suds-media.com. A little shorter, a little easier to remember, a little easier to type. So we are still an official affiliate of the WWE shop, which is a Fanatics experience. Go over to suds-media.com/wrestling merch, and that brings you to WWE shop using our affiliate code, and we get commission for whatever you end up buying, and maybe get a new Wise Man shirt to celebrate Paul Heyman or new NWO hat. Anything you want from the WWE shop, and we do a commission off of that, so that'd be great. Also, for those of you that are watching, thank you so much for tuning in to our weekly podcast here on Suds and Squared Circle Media. I am Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. If you're listening on the podcast, again, thank you so much, and go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. is Dockside at the Bay. Kim and I will be going over the next set of episodes from the Bay, which is at the Bay, the series on Twix. Also, starting next month, in just a couple of weeks, actually, Angela and I are going to be doing Take Me Down to Studio City, which is going to be all about the web series Studio City, that you can find
can't
on
wait for that.
Roku Network. Can't wait for that either. Also, let's see, tomorrow during the evening, I'm going to be recording a special episode of Chair Shot Sports. We're recording with him. We're going to be going over Bash at Berlin as well as NXT's No Mercy. And I did buy and watch AEW's All In, which was shocked that I ever actually wanted to. And I'll have my thoughts on that tomorrow. Stay tuned to that. I'm going to see if I can get a copy of it released at Square Circle News. But Chairshot Sports and I are going to be going on and talking wrestling going forward more regularly. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we've already got a request in the chat. And thank you so much. And 53 is in the chat and has already said, please tell us about Kelly Monaco. So the breaking news coming out of General Hospital just within the last hour is that Kelly Monaco is out as Sam McCall. Whether, the way that she leaves is still up in the air, as one source is reporting that she's been killed off. One just specifically says the role is being terminated. But this is a shock to a lot of us.
Yes and no. I'm I'm not 100% surprised by this.
Okay.
It was rumored for a while that they were going to be getting rid of Maura West
Yes.
because they needed to clear up some money. So a big money person had to go. Obviously, they have done a pivot on her story very recently,
Mm-hmm.
and the decision was made to not, get rid of her.
Right.
So,
And instead, get rid of Jagger.
right, but Jagger's not big money.
Right.
He was on contract, but he was still a newbie.
Yeah.
So, they have Lucky coming back. Jonathan Jackson isn't cheap. They have a bunch of people coming on with his story, and they're bringing, they made the decision to bring Lulu back.
Yep.
So if they're putting Lulu and Dante back together,
Yeah.
It makes sense that, you know what I mean? Just because
Yeah.
they're not, I know nobody wants to believe me with this, but they were never going to go back to Jason and Sam.
No, that was
That
never
was
the
not the
reason.
plan.
Nope.
They were very clear about that. They had a million chances where they could have sown seeds, laid groundwork, and did the exact opposite.
Yeah.
You know, Elizabeth Corte was like, did I stutter?
Yeah.
This isn't happening. Despite people wanting it to, it wasn't. So, that being the case, if they're going back to Lulu and Dante, what do they do with Sam?
Right.
And if they have to clear up money, Kelly's been there a long time.
Yep.
She's on a, upper edge of the pay scale. And people forget at the end of the day, and I mean, I have nothing against Kelly Monaco. Not at all, any way, shape, or form. There have been many times I have enjoyed the character of Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Despite being a Jason and Carly fan, I actually liked Sonny and Sam. I loved Lucky and Sam, and I really like Sam and Dante.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
I liked Sam and Billy Miller's Jason. I never really thought he was Jason, but I thought they were really
Right.
sweet. And, him as Drew. I liked, and I liked the character of Sam. I liked when she was friendly with Carly and when she was friendly with Liz and when she was fighting with them. She was, there was a lot of great soap there.
There was.
This isn't anything to do with not liking Kelly. I do. I have no problem with Kelly. I have no problem with Sam. But everybody always complains about how bloated the cast is.
Yes.
So why would they keep somebody that they're barely using anyway?
Yeah.
They put her in background scenes to meet her minimums as it is. And she has a pairing. So when she doesn't have a pairing, what are they, they're going to pay her top rates to be an extra. It makes no sense. At the end of the day, this show is a business.
Exactly.
And and there's a budget and there's a bottom line and the numbers have to add up. And sometimes people have to go and that's just how it goes.
So, and 53 in the chat, thank you so much for your questions. That's fantastic. Hopefully, uh, that answers your question about Kelly Monaco. Carolyn, hi, thank you for joining the chat today. You're also from New Jersey. You're on the East Coast, so it's a late night for you as well. Thank you for staying up with us. But Ann does ask, do you think any other veterans are going to be let go? Any rumors to that effect?
I have heard that this might be Robert Scorpio's swan song, not for budgetary reasons because he's recurring, but because Tristan Rogers is, from what I understand, ready to retire.
Yeah.
Which is part of the reason they're bringing back Holly. I have heard that the reason they're bringing back Holly as part of the Lucky story is so she can usher Robert off and they have their happily ever after, and it would make sense.
It does make sense.
As far as other veterans, I haven't heard. I mean, there were a list of names bandied around earlier this spring. Of the people that are on that list, it's funny because Kelly Monaco was not on that list. Maura West was on that list. Cynthia was on that list. Becky was on that. And, Michael Easton was on that list. A few other people, there were other people on the, just names that were being bandied about in the atmosphere.
Right.
Almost everything that comes out is rumor.
Of course.
And unless you hear it from multiple people, because Frank likes to put out fake information to try to plug leaks.
Makes sense.
And he is really cracking down on spoilers, seriously cracking down on spoilers. He gave everyone on set a 1 strike warning as far as all the crew people and all of that, 1 strike. And they do put out fake things to see where leaks are coming from. So unless you hear it from multiple people don't believe it. So as I said, these names were rumors. Then when it was announced that Jonathan Jackson was coming back and Michael Easton was leaving, it was automatically, take Becky Hurst off that list. She's not going anywhere. Of course, they're going to do this in Lucky. They made an obvious pivot with Maura West and decided to keep her. So, bye Kelly Monaco. I mean, a lot of the vets aren't on contract. They're
Right,
recurring.
they're recurring. Yeah.
So they don't need to cut them to save money. They just don't use them as much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Jeannie Francis, but I don't think she'll leave until I don't think they'll get rid
Oh,
of her.
she's ready. Yeah.
It'll be her decision when she leaves.
Yeah.
But like Lynn Herring, all of them, they're all recurring, so they don't
Yeah.
need to cut them.
Exactly.
And Finola Hughes, I don't think she's going anywhere. I think she's pretty safe.
Yeah. So
Uh,
it remains to be seen where they go with the storyline and how they end up deciding to, usher her out, because there are rumors,
Yeah.
like I said, one source says that the character is being killed off for storyline purposes. One says it's just they're terminating the role. So, we still don't.
I think they're killing her off because the source that says they're killing her off was also the first source that confirmed her leaving.
Yeah.
I think they're killing her off, which is interesting because then there's Jason, a single father now to Danny.
Yes.
And that conversation with Anna, which obviously resonated with him. And while he was talking to Brennan today, it was like you could see the wheels in his mind turning.
Yes.
Even though he turned him
I
down.
didn't see today, so
Oh my God, it was so good. I'm so sad you didn't see it. It was so good.
I have to watch it either tonight or tomorrow when we're done. I was on Take Two Radio earlier from 7 to 9, which is usually my time when I watch GH on Hulu. So I was not able to watch today's episode, but it's been so good now that it's here's the thing, because there's been such a blowback on Twix. We've been seeing it for a number of days with regards to Blaze being let go, and now with Sam being the firestorm's already started on Twix about Kelly Monaco leaving. And you're right, it comes down to the fact that it's a business. And we saw it, we see it all the time. I know that there was such a fan blowback when Becky Herbst was let go a number of years ago that they ended up bringing her back.
Right. But that was also over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Things are different now.
Yep. And thank you so much for watching. I want to say thank you to the multiple people that are tuning in right now. And those of you who want to come in, go ahead and hit the chat room, ask questions, share your viewpoints, your ideas. Even if you don't want to chat in the chat room, go ahead and react. Put up those heart emojis or like emojis or whatever you have to do. It helps with the algorithm, helps bring us to more viewers and more people and grow the network. And to be honest, we're the first podcast out that's actually was able to, there were other news sources that broke the news, but we're the first podcast actually reporting on Monaco's exit from General Hospital. Carolyn said that she really thought Lulu would die, but apparently no, Lulu is coming back.
Yeah, no, we've known that they were recasting Lulu for a while now. Because they put the casting call out. There was a name soap actress they tried to get who was on Guiding Light, and All My Children. Her name is Stephanie. I can't remember her last name right now.
Yep.
I'm so tired. It starts with a G. She played Tammy, Laura Wright's daughter, Cassie. Laura Wright's character, Cassie's daughter, on Guiding Light. She was really, really good. She turned them down because she's in real estate now.
Oh, okay.
Their very first choice was Julie Marie Burke, but she has no desire to come back. She's not acting right now. And neither
was turned down as well because she reached out to say she would come back to read.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm saying Julie Marie Berman told them no.
Yes.
And Stephanie G told them no. They weren't planning on bringing right. Yeah, she wasn't their plan. And I know that Frank had told her, or somebody had told her, that if they ever brought the character back, it would be her, but
yeah,
somebody was being nice because that was never the plan. She's not a bad actress. She's not
a Spencer.
Not Lulu. Exactly. Yeah. She doesn't have that spitfire, that something that Spencers have.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see who they get.
Yeah. But I did, speaking of Lulu, I really did like the scene that ended Friday's episode with Maxie and Lulu. Maxie painting Lulu's nails and saying how she needs to come back. People need her, and Dante needs her. So this is some foreshadowing right there. But just the fact that Dante walked in towards the tail end of that conversation, I like their friendship. I like how you know Maxie and Lulu just were really the best of friends, and they're putting more of a spotlight on Maxie recently too.
Mhm. They also today there were really great scenes. Tracy went and saw Lulu,
Oh wow, okay,
which was and they were really really touching scenes because Tracy basically, Tracy raised Lulu.
yeah,
She was her mother figure. I mean, Carly played a big role in it as well, but Laura was gone.
yeah,
So there were really great scenes with Tracy today that were really, really lovely that I liked.
yeah. Well, that's great.
And Adam Huss is back as Nick this week.
Yep, I saw that. I saw that Adam Huss will be back as Nicholas. Um, and you know, there's been you know, such a firestorm on Twitter, on Twix regarding the recent, you know, uh, cast changes. Let's put it that way. Uh,
Hmm.
the hashtag Bring Blaze back and Bring Jack back has been going nonstop. Um, I mean, at some point, but my thing is, let the story play out. We all
Right.
have our favorite actors. We all have our favorite characters. I, for one, love Sam. I love Sam and Dante together. But again, if she's not being used here, think of it this way. If you're a
Yes.
television fan, if she's not being used here, why keep her under contract? Let her go so she can go to be a star, a lead elsewhere on a different show,
Right.
whether it's a different soap or if it's a different primetime show or whatever she chooses.
Well, I mean, she hasn't broken 100 episodes in over 4 years now.
Yeah,
And to even hit the low, she had like high 80s, low 90s last year. To even hit that, she'd have to be on more than 10 episodes a month for the rest of the year, which she hasn't seen in a long time.
no,
So, I mean, they're not using her.
no,
And when they are using her, she has been largely black background. Could Sam have a story? Absolutely. But they're not writing a story for Sam.
exactly.
So,
It's a proverbial creative has nothing for you, you know.
right.
So
And that's just how it goes in soaps. And this is the thing with soaps though too, is that I mean a show that's been on over 60 years now,
mhm,
characters come and go.
they do. Yeah,
More characters have gone than have stayed.
yeah, you're
A
right.
bazillion more characters have gone than stayed. And things evolve and things change. And I mean, and the thing, this is soaps too. It doesn't mean she's gone forever.
Right,
Especially if they're killing her off,
right.
there's a chance she could someday come back, or maybe you never know. It's a soap opera, but
Yeah,
it's not something personal.
no.
It's a business decision.
Yep, and it's never personal, and you can't keep everybody. See,
Yeah,
there's always a catch-22 because everybody complains that the cast is so bloated. There's too many people on the cast. Why is so and so there? And here's the biggest problem is that everybody's gonna have their list of who's expendable, who
right,
they think is expendable. Well, until you become the executive producer of the show or the
right,
casting director, your list is null and void.
right.
They
Well,
have,
it's like the approval rating for Congress overall is in the toilet,
yeah,
but people like their congressperson.
exactly. Yeah,
It's the same exact thing. And, and that's just, but, like I know that I saw a lot already on Twitter about how they're saying mobilize, 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 like we did for Becky. I'm not going to tell anybody not to do it, but if they let her go for money reasons,
yeah,
you can mobilize all they want. They're not going to bring her back.
exactly. And if they do, they'll just let somebody else go who's a bigger fan favorite.
Right. And at this point, the thing, Becky was over a decade ago under a different regime. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Frank doesn't care
right.
about what you want.
And it's not only that, we've said it numerous times, people
Wow.
on social media are the vocal minority.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
the majority of people who watch General Hospital on a daily basis are not on Twitter. They're not on Facebook. They're not on um on the message board, so to speak. They're not posting, so they are the vocal minority. Now, granted, there is the select few that, you know, are, more vocal than most.
Yes.
But again, it's the fact that the powers that be at General Hospital, they look at everything, and it is a
Right.
business. So if something happens down the road where, for example, for Blaze's tour is done and the storyline for Kristina is done, and they feel they can afford to bring Jacqueline Grace Lopez back, and
They
she's
will.
she's available, that's the other thing.
Right.
Then they'll bring them back. If they find out down the road they have some room to bring Kelly Monaco back, even as a new character or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many characters Roger Howarth and Michael Easton have? So,
Mm-hmm.
there's always a possibility. But
Right.
I would much rather see Kelly Monaco get her, as the kids say, get her flowers at another, show that she could be lead and hit that, 100 or 200 episode year
Right.
a year mark, rather than just being background noise. And I know, Carolyn, you asked about Violet Finn, if she's got a storyline or not. The
I
kids
don't.
part won't have
Yeah, I
storylines.
was going to say I don't think Violet's going to have a storyline. I think she'll just pop up here and there.
Yeah, it's like James and Wiley and all the other younger
They're
kids.
props.
They're props. I mean, granted, we saw James with his facial features last week or the week before, when hearing Nina and
Mm-hmm.
Willow talk about
Willow. Yep.
Drew, and then he was cute. The kids steal the show. They're cute, whatever, but they're not, gonna really get stories per se. And you think about it, the last time there was really a story, quote unquote, that I could think of for a kid on any soap opera was, and it wasn't even necessarily a story for the kids, but was earlier this year on Days, when they had the fire at the Horton house,
Mm-hmm.
and Chad's two kids were involved in it.
Yep.
And they had a little bit of work, but that's another reason why daytime Emmys got rid of the younger actor category, is because they really, outside of
Right.
teenagers.
There's just not, yeah. Once they, dropped the age limit,
Yeah,
there's just not a whole lot of story for them. Because, I mean, like back in the day, I mean, they still have like tutors on set and stuff, but back in the day, they would have that stuff full time and there'd be a lot of kids working a lot and stuff like that. But it's just an expense they don't need anymore. That they, it's just a thing, a way to cut costs
yeah.
to
You're
not do that anymore.
Yeah. Um. All right. So we had a lot this week. We had 3 returns within a matter of the week. Not even counting Lulu's return, because she hadn't necessarily been on campus.
Right.
But we had Rick come back, which we knew. We knew Rick Lansing was coming back. We saw
Mm-hmm.
Bucky back, which we knew, again, Jonathan Jackson was coming back. Brad came back, and Brad and Terry
Yep.
had seen, Brad. It was just
Terry
like,
came back.
what?
Terry hasn't been on in a while.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Brad and Terry, and they were talking about Brad's role, and he wants to go back into the lab, and it was just some really good back and forth dialogue when Brad is bringing up Britt and saying, Britt saw a second chance for me and believed in second chances, to and to he, the best part was Brad was detailing all of the stuff that he did wrong, and he said, if I wasn't so good, why would people come? Why wouldn't people come
Right.
trust me to do their dirty work? And
Mm-hmm.
that's not really good for your reputation. Um, but either way, the fact is, Brad came back. Let's see. I hope we get to see more of them. Um,
Yeah.
but again, that remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we get to see more of Terry too.
Yes, I do too. And Yuri. We
Yes.
saw Yuri today, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like these characters that we know live there. It's hard when you don't get to see them, especially because they all have their own fan bases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest things is that it was like a once in a lifetime lightning bolt that struck Trina that caused
Mm-hmm.
Trina to come from the background to more of a lead character or supporting character. Um, I don't think it's going to happen all the time to actually bring somebody to the forefront. But it's it's hard. That's all it is. It's hard when people are let go. And that's the
Yeah.
big problem now is that people are viewers, especially those on social media, are watching for one or two specific people rather than the show as a whole.
Yeah.
All right. Um, all right, so let's try to go through some of what happened this week. Um, Obviously we start the week. Laura's going into uh Lulu's hospital room, and you were right. Cyrus was the one that was at Lulu's bedside reading her the Bible.
Yes.
And we find out that Cyrus has been visiting Lulu regularly, along with other people in the, uh, in that home to bring the Bible to them. So I'm actually inclined to think that Cyrus is actually has kind of redeemed himself.
Yes. It seems so.
It seems to me like the character of Cyrus is no longer going to be a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, could they give him a story and kind of screw things up all the time? They could because Jeff Kober is just so awesome. But I do want to. I hope we get to see Cyrus more often now that they're kind of centering more on the Spencers and Laura's family.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we get Marty Gray back too. Uh,
Yes.
but all right, so we you know the doctors. All right, I got to ask you this: how frustrating was it to have Laura talk to the doctors because the doctors called her frantically saying you better come down to the place, but yet they're
Mm-hmm.
running tests. Like it takes a good, let's say on the on the conservative side, 2 to 3 hours to get from Port Charles to New York City. I'm assuming that's where the um clinic.
Yeah. Yes.
So she gets a frantic phone call. She gets down there, right? And they're still running tests. So they really have no news for her
Right.
other than her liver is, showing
Right.
signs of going bad.
Yeah.
Uh, and then they end up bringing her back to General Hospital later.
I just thought it was really funny and realistic, quite frankly.
I could see that. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Kevin meets Laura down there, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously they both see Cyrus. Cyrus, like, and here's the thing is like Cyrus didn't engage. He's just like, I come down here. I'm sorry I didn't
Right.
know the first step. And then when Kevin gets there and they're talking, he's like, I'm going to see myself out. This is a different, not a conversation to be there.
Yeah.
So again, he's kind of relegated down to just support and recurring
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I was gonna say John Lindstrom is recurring.
yeah. Um,
Yeah. A large amount of the cast is recurring.
oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's probably only a handful of them that are actually on contract.
Right.
Um,
I mean, there's a little bit more than a handful, but yes, the majority of the people you see are not on contract.
right.
So,
All right. So we did get to see Jason confront Anna
mm-hmm.
regarding her allowing Valentine to get away, and he does
Mm-hmm.
let Anna know that Valentine was the one that ordered Sonny's pills originally to be
Right.
decreased to 25.
I loved those scenes.
Mhm.
One, I loved, of course, the references to my Jarly. And
Yep.
I loved that, he didn't deny that, that was the life he wanted. It was just you
Yeah.
don't know what I want, and the wheels are definitely turning for Jason now,
Yeah.
so No, I don't think Heather's leaving. She's another one that's on recurring.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's leaving. They can have her pop in and out. I just think that that story was on hold because Jeannie had to go away, sooner. But I think Heather will be popping up again.
Yeah.
It'll just be a little down the line now at this point. But yeah, I liked that. I think they both told each other truths
Yep.
in that conversation.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting, Anna telling him that at some point he was going to have to pick a side.
Yes.
And I think for the first time ever, it's not going to be Sonny's side he ends up picking. Today, I'm interested to hear your thoughts when you watch today.
Yep.
So probably going to have to chat before next Monday because I'm like really today a lot happened.
Okay.
A lot happened. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. Like I said, either tonight or tomorrow
Yeah.
afternoon. Um, and so it's just I can't wait to see it. And yeah, we're gonna have to
We
talk
will chat because
about.
it was so good. Because the sneak peek showed that Brennan had Carly brought in.
Oh, okay.
Brennan had Carly brought in to the WSB office.
Oh, okay.
And he said and the sneak peek came out on Friday. So this wasn't and she wanted to know why he had her brought in. And he was like, well, I'm afraid I'm using you. Like, for what? And as soon as she says that, the office door opens and Jason walks in.
Oh, okay.
Brennan had her brought in
Yeah,
by agents because he knew it would get back to Jason and Jason would come in. He was trying to get Jason to come have a conversation with him
makes sense.
because he wanted to offer him a job. And a lot of people thought that Brennan admitted he was the one who got rid of the evidence against Carly.
Yep.
And a lot of people had thought that he was going to use it to blackmail Jason.
Yeah.
He told Jason today, no, once it was deleted from the FBI server, it broke the chain of custody. So even if it were to pop up, it can't be used.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So he's not blackmailing Jason.
And you know what? That's smart. I'm glad that they kind of have some type of an intelligent law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement person.
Oh,
You know,
I
and
am.
Brendan is fantastic. Charles
Oh
Measure
my God.
is awesome.
He really is. I've been doing a rewatch of Once Upon a Time, and I'm just like, oh, it's Blackbeard again because I just love him so much. And he came back to Twitter today.
Yes, I saw that.
So hopefully the, raging douchebags don't run him off again.
Um, we'll get to Geo in a little bit because I did ask what are they going to do with Geo. He doesn't seem to have too much chemistry with either Trina or Joss. I thought he had pretty good chemistry with Joss.
I thought he had good chemistry with both of them. Um, I still think that he was brought on. I mean, again, everything is in flux right now because there is a new
Right.
writing regime.
Yep.
So nothing is set in stone, but he was originally brought on for Trina.
Yeah.
And they were going to do a quad with them, and they just didn't have a story for them yet because,
And now that give the new writers a chance to get their footing. I mean, obviously Elizabeth has been writing for a number of months now. Chris is back in the head writer's position, co-head writer, and they have, other writers. So just give it a little bit of time to see how everything flushes out. Um, you know, again, it's been great. And yeah, it's been a little jarring over the past couple of weeks, with storylines ending abruptly. But these are storylines that have been going on for a long, long time.
right.
So like they've been dragging out and the, um Elizabeth and Chris are like, you know what? No, let's just end this here. Back, you guys are father and son, get over your bullshit. And it's like
Yeah.
hug it out. Hug it out.
Yep.
What Full House term. Let's hug it out. Um
Yeah.
Pikeman seems to be done. And just holy cow. Just a lot of stuff ending and new stories starting. It's like the Raw after WrestleMania.
Amazing. It was so much groundwork, so
Yeah.
many seeds were planted today. It was so good.
So I can't see today's episode. Needless to say. All right. So the biggest story that happened last week was Molly and Kristina, at the gravesite. Now, obviously, leading up to the funeral, there were a
Yes.
couple of scenes that kind of planted some seeds that something was going to happen. Molly and TJ coming up with the name Irene Marie
Hmm.
for the baby. Kristina being like, "Oh, I've been calling her Adele or Adela, I guess Sonny's mother." Um, and
Yes.
just the conflict there, and then when Molly goes over to Alexis's house to see Kristina, you know, and bring up the that they named her, and because she's like, you didn't ask me, you named
Right.
me,
Right.
which okay, if you weren't so attached to the baby and weren't planning on keeping the baby, why did you care about what they named her?
Right.
Um,
And then Molly saw the papers.
yes, Molly saw the papers, and that was when Jagger came to bring Christina in for questioning
Hmm.
after. So as we left Friday's episode, Jagger was arresting Christina. Um, and we go to court. But first, Christina's coming out of the hospital, and she's in the interrogation room. And Dante comes in and says, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab some snacks. I'm gonna stay here with you." And she's like, "No, I'd rather be in the cell. I'd rather go to sleep."
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
which again, she's coming out of the hospital, so of course she's gonna want to.
Right.
Um, that the entire way of building up to this eventual crescendo of Molly and Christina just was laid out beautifully.
Yeah.
Kudos to Kate Manzi and Kristen Vaganos for pulling it off, because to be honest with you, I don't care what kind of hate I get. I don't think that Haley Poulos and Lexi Ainsworth would be able to pull off
No,
that kind of.
I think it would have been a totally, I mean, honestly, Kate Manzi's not a bad actress. She's a very good actress, but she can't cry, which was a little bit annoying that she can't cry. It was very glaring to me.
Uh-huh.
But that's just me. Um, it was, I mean, the new Molly was just phenomenal.
Oh God,
She was
yes.
so good. And Alexis, I'm just, Alexis continues to be one of the worst mothers. I mean, it's always, poor Molly has always been,
Yeah.
because she, with Kristina, it was one crisis after another. So she got all the attention. But, my annoyance with Alexis with this started at the hospital when she was telling Molly, when Molly was trying to tell her how she felt and she just wanted her to,
Yeah.
feel for her sister and yada, yada. And then she tried to give Rick attitude about being late, and Rick
Yeah.
back how he found Molly, alone crying outside.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole thing with those papers is that, Alexis said she wanted to stay out of it. So
Yeah.
she could drop the papers. But she showed, she told Kristina how she could draw them up herself.
Right.
So she wasn't staying out of it.
Finally draws up the paper and that says, don't ever tell Molly or TJ about these, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like I everybody in that whole situation is grieving. They're all
Yeah.
grieving at their own rate, and they're all going through their own stuff.
Right.
I'm hoping at some point, Christina's able to explain. Listen, the only reason why I had it pulled up was because of the fact that Molly, because you and TJ, I thought you guys were breaking up, and this would have protected your interests as that baby's mother. You know,
Well, see,
that'll
but the thing is that Christina, that was Christina's rationalization.
yeah,
But the fact that she named that baby and stuff like, it was about she wanted to keep her baby.
yeah,
So, yeah. And she admitted that she had she had already decided that she wasn't gonna, and Molly and TJ weren't fighting anymore. They
no,
had fixed things and they were doing great,
they were, yeah.
but Christina was just looking for a reason to keep that baby.
Oh yeah, she was, it's um, and it's very very clear at this point, and it's like this entire the entire thing the funeral, the memorial they had for the baby and everything. Just I love the fact of the people that were there. You know,
Yeah.
the fact that, you know, Michael and Willow were at the church, but Willow couldn't go to the gravesite because it brought up too many memories. So they
Yeah.
went to go sit down and it's like that's the kind of stuff that you want to see because it does tie back to previous stories and it does
Hmm.
give the characters those layers, right? So you get,
Hmm.
know, Willow saying I can't go, it's too much. So they go sit
Yeah.
down
It
and
was a very interesting, right. Hmm.
it was a very
I thought it was an interesting, having Willow talk to Kristina when she was in the hall, that was,
yeah,
yeah, that was good.
it's
Um,
a very touchy subject, the entire
yes, absolutely. But of course, Willow was also, her double speaking,
right.
loving somebody that have
Yeah.
just like,
And I really thought that Willow was gonna tell Michael about her and Drew kissing
I did too.
when she said that Jonah's favorite, what was it, the favorite story or something. Um that you I don't remember the exact line, but then she said, oh, Jonah's favorite story was this, or favorite music, or favorite song, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
When she blurted that out instead of, uh, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, Jonah liked Mozart or something
yeah,
like that.
Mozart. That's what it was. Yeah, Jonah liked Mozart. That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they continue to kind of beat around that, and it's going to come out at some point because they're
Yep.
both very, very sloppy, and between Nina and Willow.
Well, I mean, James knows.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he's gonna spill the beans.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Again, folks, thank you so much for watching. It's been, 40 minutes. I'm very thankful that you're here watching and staying up late with us if you're on the East Coast, like Carolyn and Angela and I. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe and get notified. We're working towards 500, which is that first milestone of subscribers. Got a ways to go, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and share the network, share the stream, invite your friends, um, and definitely go ahead and interact with the chat. Uh, but we're going to continue on trudging through this general hospital, but it hasn't been anything that felt like we're trudging through. It felt like this week went by very, very this
and then
will be good.
today I'm going to be up doing laundry for my trip tomorrow. So if you watch it tonight, we have to talk tonight. I am so excited to hear what you think about today.
All right, I will have to. I'm actually getting up early tomorrow. My son and I are going to get matching tattoos. So
Oh, nice.
yes,
Yeah, I have to get on a flight to Texas. So,
yes. Um, what time is your flight?
not until like 10 a.m., but I'm going
Yeah,
in early.
makes sense.
So, because it's a bad traffic time and you want to
Oh
get
yeah,
there early and it's Logan and during the week. So it could be,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So the basic story was Molly and Kristina all week.
Hmm.
Starting with Kristina, getting arrested, going to court, and again, I swear, um,
Yeah.
I swear the federal prosecutor is ready to wring Jagger's neck
Yeah.
because he comes out and Jagger's like, oh, well, we don't have all the evidence together yet. Judge is
Hmm.
like, are you kidding me? You call it's and then he has an outburst when they say, oh, Christina can go home.
Yeah. Jagger's losing it. I'm
Yeah,
sad that I mean, I'm happy that Maura's staying, but I'm sad that Jagger's going to be the one that takes the fall.
yeah. I just feel like he came in with such a vendetta against Sonny, even though I know that he had originally signed a 3-year contract. I
Hmm.
feel like it was always destined to be short term because he was
Well,
kind
yeah.
of vision towards Sonny. Um, but regardless of that, um, Carolyn says, "I wonder what November sweeps will be like." Um, I think that's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So I just saw speculation that somebody posted that would be pretty interesting
Hmm.
because today they were talking about, so Lulu needs a liver transplant.
Yes.
They confirmed that today. And, they were saying, Dante was saying that him and Rocco would get tested, and Sam said that she would. And yeah, they're going to get everybody else tested. Be interesting if Sam's a match and she dies from complications from the surgery. That would be
Yeah.
an interesting.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. She dies a hero.
Yeah. And her dying brings Lulu back, but
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Um, that also could be where they get Ethan back, and
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
or it could be Nick getting out of prison for that or something
Yeah.
to that effect. So
Well, it's really funny because when Lulu needed the bone marrow transplant, Nick was the match.
right,
So you would think that Nick would be a match for
for
the
the
liver.
exactly.
But I think they're going to say that it has to be Lucky or something. Who knows? So I think that that's going to be that's why they have to find Lucky, because Nick's not the match.
Yeah. So
So,
so Lucky is being held captive, as is the case with multiple people who return to General Hospital. It's the same prison cell as Jason.
yeah, but it's a different story.
Right.
He's
It's
actually not being held
on
captive.
Castle Island. Oh,
No, he's not being held captive.
oh.
I don't want to give it away,
Okay.
but it's something different.
Okay. We will talk about that next week.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be something really good, and I have faith in the writing team. That's what a lot of people don't get, is that they don't put faith in the writers, and it's like they're upset because of their personal favorites, and we're going to rehash it again. But I'm actually putting my faith in the current writing team to create good stories with who they have. And if they have to get rid of people along the way, that's what they got to do.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's a business. And it's like, let's say, obviously Kelly Monaco's leaving. Let's say she gets offered a contract at, let's say Y&R, and she's able to be more of a supporting role there where she's getting more than 80 episodes a year. That's
Mm-hmm.
better for her. Like, why wouldn't
Right.
you want your favorite actor to
Right.
get a better gig for them?
Right.
That's why it's like the fact that, with Kelly Tebow, when she left to go to Station 19, I think that's what it was.
Well,
Um,
it was actually the reason she left the show because Station 19 was just a bit part and she did it while she was filming GH. She actually left because she was moving to London, to England to live with her boyfriend
oh, okay.
because she was dating a gazillionaire who was English and owned an English soccer team.
Oh,
That's why she left and moved to England was for the boyfriend.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then when Steve Burton came back, she reached out and said she would come back, and they said no.
Well, her and the boyfriend had broken up
Yeah.
shortly after that. And she was coming back to the States.
Not how it always goes. You move for a guy and lose your
Right.
girlfriend, and it's like they can't bring Britt back because she died on screen.
Right.
Unless,
And Kelly wanted that.
yeah, she
She
did.
asked for that. She wanted, and she flat out said that she wanted it because she wanted closure on the character of Britt.
Yeah. I mean, unless Obrecht has her stored somewhere and, she's back to her, mad scientist. That's another person we haven't seen in quite a while.
Right.
People.
Yeah.
Um, with Brad coming back this week, the questions were, where's Miss Wu? We haven't seen her in a
Mm-hmm.
while. Lydia Look
Yeah.
has been off canvas for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they still have a lot of recurring people they could have brought back. We did get to see Marshall this week.
Yep.
That, everybody, we had heard that they had nothing for him.
Well, I had heard a million times that he was done and not coming back, but I'm like, no, they just dropped him to recurring. He'll show up. And
Yeah.
there he was.
I'm really upset that they didn't bring Sean back at least for one episode.
I know. he should have been there
TJ's
for
father. Like,
TJ
they
with
brought
the,
Rick
yeah,
back.
right.
Now, granted, Rick's
But
gonna have a bigger story, but
right, I think that more than likely it was probably the actor is done and doesn't want to.
yeah, or yeah, because I know that he and Maurice had an exchange on Twix not too long ago,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
it would have been good to see Sean back. Uh,
Yeah. He was pretty.
let's see.
I
Uh,
love eye candy on my soaps.
well, they need eye candy.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so here's some news out of GH that the deception line is real in real
Yes.
life.
Yep, they actually made the Deceptor
Yep.
and I think some serums
Yes.
and
And that.
handbags, yes.
So
I remember the days. I mean, GH used to do a lot of that stuff. They used to do like the jewelry, so and so's engagement ring, or so and like Sam's star necklace and stuff like. They used to do that stuff all the time.
really,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But that there is a website. I can't remember. Is it ABC Shop at Home? No.
Yeah. Something home heart. I don't even know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I gotta look it up because I did go to it. It was on Friday's episode because I remember telling the girls at Pier 54 about it. I say on a Saturday. So,
Yeah.
I have to find. I can't remember what the page was, but yeah, it's a real site, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shophomeandheart.com. So it's
Yes, because I was gonna say they made it sound like the home shopping channel.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, they did that as a, yeah.
So shophomeandheart.com. You can get your deception
Mm-hmm.
merchandise. You can get merchandise from the show. And I guess the new person that they threw to after Haven to Haviland was done is actually going to be the new host of Home and Heart
Yes.
going forward. Um, how did the scenes with Lois this week? I I want to say I feel like they just were out of place. Like what? Why?
And that was the one thing I didn't like about today is that they continued that.
Really?
And at the end of it, she called somebody because she wants a dialect coach. And I'm like, I am not interested in a My Fair Lady story with Lois. I'm just not.
Like is Rena Sofer's voice really a New York accent? No. Okay.
No.
So yeah, that bothered me because it's like, first of all, those nationally televised shows like that, they have screeners. So
Right.
if somebody was that rude on the phone, they would have cut them off
Right.
in no time.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
I want to say I really liked Haven to Haviland helping her through
Yes.
her segment. Like it was a complete 180 from what we've seen prior. Because like she was the one that was going along with the baby crying in Sasha's ears, you know what I mean, in the previous during Sasha's mental breakdown. Um, so I'm really glad they kind of redeemed her character if her character is no longer going to be on.
Right.
But that was really good. That was a good segment.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
liked how she helped her through.
Mm-hmm. And
And
she put the woman in her place
yes, yeah, she did. She put the woman in her place.
and it was nice. Yeah, I liked that too. Yeah, I just and just it's not that I don't think Lois can't be vulnerable about something, but I just can't see it being her accent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see it being something with aging or something like that, but her accent, it's just been too, she Tracy gave her no end of shit about it for years.
yeah.
She didn't care.
But
And
it's
that's when she wanted to fit in with the Quartermains because she loved Ned and yada yada yada. But that was something. So I'm like, it just doesn't strike me that
right,
that's authentic.
exactly.
So,
And then it's the same thing with like Olivia. Olivia has the same type of accent, though they're not as high pitched as Lois is, but
right.
got the same type of Bensonhurst accent, Long Island, you know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
understand, yeah, that story is dumb. Like I don't know where they're going with
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, I'm not and I mean, whatever. It's not like it destroys the show for me, but I'm like, I could not, if I was gonna fast forward something, it would be that.
yeah.
I don't fast forward anything.
No, I don't either. I don't I will say I broke my rule today. So moving away from soaps for just a minute. I
Hmm.
watch AEW's All In pay-per-view from last night.
Hmm.
And I watched it this afternoon when I got home from work. I decided to take a chance on it. And
Yeah.
the only match that I actually fast forwarded through was Darby Allin versus Jack Perry in a casket match. Once they brought out the broken glass stuff, I'm like, you know what, I don't need this, and I just fast forwarded through it. I broke my own rule, but um, that's neither here nor there. But I never fast forward to General Hospital.
You miss things. Like
That,
people give Laura Wright a lot of shit for saying people shouldn't fast forward. But, she wasn't saying don't fast forward me. She was saying don't fast forward any part of the show because you miss things.
right?
And so many times when I see people on Twitter going, but that doesn't make sense. Why does that, if they watch the show,
Yeah,
they'd know.
exactly. Yeah, I agree. Both Carolyn and Ann in the chat said the Lois's accent story seems dumb. Where did this come from? The
Yeah.
accent story seems trivial and forced. Yeah, I don't like it doesn't make sense to me. It's
I'm
it's almost
wondering if
like
this is to bring some new guy on
yeah,
as
yeah,
the dialect coach or something. I don't know.
yeah. I'm yeah, again, but it's like
Yeah. No
it
sense.
doesn't
I
make
don't like it either.
it doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Um, but either way. So Dante had a good chat with Chase after
Mhm.
finding out about Lulu being back in GH, and he just I like their friendship. I like the fact
Yes.
Chase is a cop again, and they're able to
The
be
bromance.
the bromance. Yeah. But you know what I really liked too was I think it was this week when
Mhm.
Jason and Dante were talking about Danny and
About Danny. Yep.
it was
Right.
a really good
Yes.
man-to-man conversation. It wasn't
Yes.
about the mob. It wasn't about anything law breaking or anything.
A kid's sports team.
Yes,
Yep. It was a classic co-parenting kind of,
yeah,
conversation.
exactly. And
So,
it's like I like that because it shows another layer of Jason.
hmm.
Where he's now showing himself as a parent. So, he's got to take less risks and less, illegal tactics, which is why, the idea of him going into the WSB makes total sense.
Right. And especially if they're gonna kill off Sam, he's gonna be a single father. And Dante's still gonna want to have a relationship because the kids are all close.
Yeah,
Danny and Rocco are close.
exactly.
So they will still have that. So it seemed, yeah, it's funny now looking at those scenes now with the information,
Yeah,
take another look at those with the information we now have.
yes, exactly.
Is
Um,
very interesting. And same thing with this conversation with Anna.
yeah, no, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So Trina and Ava and Joss are kind of caught up in this whole, you know, Joss is Joss is very much like your mother into the fact that she will just say what's on her mind regardless of what happens.
Mhm.
Which is a good quality to have in some cases. But I like how Trina questioned Ava, and I like those scenes.
I did too. I liked how she questioned Ava. My thing is, one, I think she believed Ava way too easily, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. I I had no problem her calling out Joss's hypocrisy
Exactly.
because Joss absolutely does defend people who do bad things. My thing is that she knew Ava had either lied to her or lied to the police.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still was all very, and I mean, the whole Trina, Josh, Ava situation, Joss, Ava, Trish situation is an interesting dynamic to me because Ava had already done what she did with Morgan
Yeah.
before Trina started working for her.
Yes.
And when Trina was first going to take that job, Joss was like, but she was responsible for my
Right. Yeah.
brother's death. And at that time, Trina was like, well, I need this job, but it's just a job. It's not like, I'm
Yeah.
doing this because I want this job, not, I know who Ava is, and then, it was her becoming close to Ava like she did was a huge fuck you to Jocelyn
Yeah.
because what Ava did to Joss and Joss, but Joss never gave her shit about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Joss accepted it. And then, Trina came at Joss about Curtis or about Jason. And it was like, yeah, Trina, I like the character of Trina, but she is starting to, I need her to not be a Robin or a Liz or a Laura. I just
Right.
really, really need
Yeah.
that. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I think that's what's happening. And that's gonna make me sad because then I'm not gonna, and I'm really sad about that.
Yeah.
But
I can understand that.
anyway, that's
Um,
that's probably for future, Angela.
um, so while talking about Ava, they did have a scene. Sonny comes into the gallery and tells Ava, "You got to come with me because you're in danger." And he's like, "John is using you to get to me, and your life is in danger, and this and that and the other thing." Again, Sonny's back on his meds. Why the hell is he trying to save Ava? After what she now granted, Jason tell
Right,
didn't Jason tell no, Jason didn't tell him that Ava was the one that said, bring it all the way down to zero to placebo. He only knows about
right.
Valentine.
Valentine, right. Well, I mean, my thing is that the whole Sunny Ava dynamic is weird. I mean, Sunny making the leap to Jagger is going to kill you and frame me for it was very weird to me, but it is what it is. Sunny wants to save Ava because he wants to save Kristina.
Okay.
That's the thing, is that if Ava's dead, then all that there is her statement.
Yes, makes sense.
And the death would be pinned on Sunny, which would be worse for Kristina and yada yada. So, I see the point of that. I don't know how Sunny made the leap. There seems to be a missing scene or something for Sunny
Yeah,
to have made the leap that
that was
Jack's going to try to kill Ava. That seemed very weird to me.
because Sonny even talked to Jason and thought that it went to Jason saying that it was Jagger that,
Right.
and Jason's like, no, it was Valentine.
Right. So it's like he's putting all of these crimes on Jagger that are just, I don't even know.
Yeah. So I mean that was definitely a weird scene. Um so I yeah. But Ava also had another talk this time with Nina, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but heart to heart,
I still want to know who Nina called.
yeah. I'm
At
not
first, I thought it was Rick,
yeah.
but now I
Because Nina and
kind
Rick
of
were
think
married at
maybe
one point.
right. And it wasn't a happy marriage, and they never
Right.
slept together or anything because he was just trying to steal her money and was sleeping with her mother. But now, so I had thought she had called him to come help Ava,
Yeah.
but now I think it's Martin.
No, it could be. Makes
I
sense.
think it's Martin that maybe she called to, because she was mad at Martin when he left
Yeah.
because he had spilled the beans. but he's a lawyer
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he even needs one. So I could see it being Martin, but at first I thought it was Rick, but then no,
Yeah.
other one called him.
Carolyn says, I wonder if Kristina kills Jagger. I mean, it's always a possibility, but I don't foresee that happening. I
I
mean,
don't think so either. I think that if anybody kills Jagger, which I'm not even sure Jagger's going to die, he could just go off the rails and go to prison or something.
yeah,
If anyone's going to kill Jagger, it'll end up being somebody like the pharmacist did it.
right, yeah,
And they'll do a who done it, but it'll turn out to be
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, unless it turns out to be Ethan, if they go that route with Ethan,
Mm-hmm.
because Ethan will do something for Christina. Um, it could go that route. Maybe Alexis, because she's done stuff in the past.
Right.
When it came to, she killed Kiefer,
Mm-hmm.
who was harassing, abusing
Yeah.
Christina.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be a number of people if they go that route. Again, for all we know, the FBI could just send him to another jurisdiction and he'd be out.
Right.
Or he could go to
Exactly.
prison. Or
It's that's simple. It's
just
they
the
can
fact
get
that
rid of
Adam
Jagger
Harrington,
very easily without him
right?
killing.
Just the fact that Adam Harrington is going to lose his
Right.
contract doesn't mean that he's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Jagger is a legacy character. He's
Right.
you know as Antonio Sabato Jr. He grew up on the show and then left and now came back. So I mean,
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to say doubt they'd kill him off, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah. I mean
It serves no purpose
yeah.
because it's a federal agent.
Right.
So I mean,
I hate, I mean, I don't care. I don't, intrinsically care about Jagger personally that much.
right? Yeah,
I didn't care about his character back in the day, but I loved how he came on. And his anger and hatred of Sonny is righteous and just.
right.
But now they're making him seem like a crazy person. And that just, I hate that
Yeah,
we're back to that. I'm just like,
like the tunnel vision is so ridiculous on him to the point we knew when he came in he had a vendetta against Sonny, but now it's amped up like
right. It's like, and it was, he said his
now he's
badge and his beliefs meant more to him than his hatred of Sonny. And I
yeah,
liked that. And I liked that he could, tear Sonny a new one, but still do his job. But
right.
now he's like going off the rails. And I'm so sick of people being sacrificed, good characters being sacrificed at the altar of Sonny Corinthos. I'm tired. But,
I
you
don't
know,
mind it. All right, last thing to kind of go over, um in that we is at the Home and Heart episode, uh
mm-hmm,
Maxie and Natalia talking. When Maxie goes to Natalia, you got some
mm-hmm,
put the money in. What's it? All I can find out is what's in it for you.
right,
And Natalia said, no, you're in charge. I'm here to support you.
right.
You know,
Yeah, like
are,
it seems like
uh,
Natalia really just wants a chance to make a fresh start.
yeah. So I mean, it really, it's hard how we got there. You
Yeah,
know, it's very, because again, with Blaze gone, there's no need for the record company. So
exactly.
now the money's going to Deception, and
Hmm.
you know, and Lois made sure that the money
Yeah.
clean and legit. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Kind of
Yeah.
covered everything. There were no Jason and Carly scenes this week. Um, I
There
got
were some today in Brennan's office, but yeah.
right. Um, oh, one other thing. While they were at the gravesite, and Molly and Christina are going through their, that
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but that fight right there, that argument, Kristen Vaganos just blew everything out of the water.
Oh, so
Uh,
good. And I mean, I know that Christina loved that baby and was mourning her, but it's just Kristina is the same character she always was. And like at the funeral in the church,
Yeah.
Jordan gets called up to read a prayer or a reading, and then and like just as Jordan's walking, I have something to say.
Yeah.
You can't sit your ass down and wait for somebody else to be
Exactly.
done. And
Yeah.
then and it's just and then she starts sobbing loudly, and Molly is just looking at her like, oh my god, this bitch.
Yeah.
And I was looking at her the same way.
But it's like you felt the emotion from both characters. Like they're both grieving, they're both upset, they're both mourning in their own way and for their own reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
obviously there's no custody battle because the baby is dead. The only thing I
Mm-hmm.
can think of is if Molly ends up suing Kristina for the death of the baby, for get all the money back for the surrogacy, for the money they spent on doctor's bills because she,
Mm-hmm.
it turns out that she's, the reason for the baby's death.
Well, here's the thing is that, I mean, it was an accident,
Yeah.
but Molly's not wrong.
No, she's
Tina
not.
had no business going to that damn hotel room. None
Exactly.
whatsoever.
Nope. You're exactly right.
I mean,
That's why
if
it's like
Ava had grabbed a knife and stabbed her, Kristina would still partially be to blame because she knows Ava killed Connie.
yeah.
She knows Ava is dangerous, and her whole had to do it for my father. No, you really didn't.
No, exactly. That's why it's like I made a post on Twix and I likened that scene when Molly went off on Kristina to the promo that Owen Hart cut at the Royal Rumble 94 after he kicked his brother in the leg, Bret Hart. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's like granted, Owen Hart became the heel, Bret Hart was the babyface. But if you actually watch that clip, it's on YouTube or Peacock or whatever you want to watch it. But if you actually pay attention to that clip,
Mm-hmm.
when Owen Hart is telling Bret how selfish she is and this and that and the other thing, that's Kristina.
Right. It is. But it also kind of reminds me of the scene back in the day when Carly and AJ were arguing on the stairs at the Quartermain Mansion when she was
Yeah.
pregnant with the first Carson spawn, and she's flashing her engagement ring from Sonny in his face, and AJ grabbed her hand
Yep.
to get it out of his face, and she pulled away and she fell. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Yes, he shouldn't have grabbed her hand. She shouldn't have been arguing with somebody on the stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an accident, but she wasn't blame free.
Right. Exactly.
And Kristina Moore, she should not have been in that hotel room.
No, absolutely not.
She knew there was no way she was going to. She knew there was no way in hell Ava was going to change the subpoena.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
She was looking for a fight.
Eva wasn't the one that sent the subpoena. It was Scott.
Right.
So,
but I mean, she thought that going there and being an asshole to Ava was going to make.
Yeah, it made sense.
Not. I don't understand that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's Kristina, and always has been.
Yeah. It really has been. And on that note, we're done. We've talked about everything that there is to talk about. That happened last week on GH. Next week's gonna be even better. I do want to let you know, programming note, Monday, September, hang on, I gotta get the actual date. Monday, September 9th. We will not be on that weekend because I have to work that next morning on Tuesday. So because I go into work so early, I have to go to bed early. So we will not be here Monday, September 9th, but we will be here every other Monday after that and before that. But that's a quick programming note. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, tune in to Dockside at the Bay. And again, we are an official affiliate of the WWE shop. So go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. That'll take you to WWE shop using our affiliate code. And whatever you buy through there, we do get a commission on. I'm trying to find out how to get an affiliate relationship with ABC.com or ABC Heart and Home or whatever. Carolyn and Ann, thank you so much for your chatting, and thank you for the encouraging words about the show tonight. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, get notified, leave a comment. I know we did get a number of comments on our last episode. Um,
Mhm.
and definitely, share us, share the page, get other people to like it. And subscribe as well. We're trying to get to that 500 milestone. But stay tuned for more shows in the future. We are getting ready with um, Take Me Down to Studio City starting in a couple weeks. Um, we're also going to be doing Angela Answers Fan Mail. That's going to be a very explosive show. Half of the show will be available to everybody. The other half is going to be on Patreon. So you're going to have to call the hotline, if you will. But again, um, it's been great. There's very little complaining that I could do on GH. Um, you know,
Yep.
I have
Same.
enjoying the show, and I think it's because I don't watch it for a specific character or a specific couple. I watch it for the actual show.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that are going to hate it, but you know
Yeah.
what? If you're going to hate watch the show, you're still watching it.
Right.
But the fact is, I prefer you watch
Right.
like it.
I mean, I have my favorites. I am a Carly stan. I am a Jarly stan, but I watch for the entire show.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's as upset about Sam leaving than I am. I'm a huge Kelly Monaco fan. And I was a huge Craze fan. I loved uh
Mhm.
Christina and Blaze. And I was very upset they let Blaze go. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna pick at the show. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna, write letters to Nathan Varney or Mark Teschner or Frank Valentini and say I'm gonna stop watching the show if you don't bring this person back. It's a business. Okay. I've been watching wrestling and soap operas for years, for the majority of my life, to know that what shit happens. You know,
Mhm.
I just watched Ricochet, debut as AEW All In after being in the WWE for the past 8 years or so. And I know that within 2 months he's going to be irrelevant because that's how it happens in AEW. But whatever,
Yep.
I still have an open mind, and he's making a lot of money, so that's all that matters. But with that said, um, we will be back and better than ever next Monday. It seems like today's was an explosive episode, so I do have to watch that either tonight or tomorrow. Um,
So good.
but for Angela, I'm Vinny. We will see you next Monday night here on Suds News, brought to you by Suds and Squared Social Media. Have a great night, everybody.